What's good, fight fans? UFC 314 just wrapped up. Volk keeps the belt, and Diego Lopes doesn't gas out. Let's get into the fights. All right, so Volk got this unanimous decision. He was really piecing up Diego, and I know Diego, like, the punches don't hurt, bro, but when you're just standing there taking Volk's jabs to the face, like, it's counting points, bro, and Volk's a point fighter. So he just outpointed Diego. First round, he low key, he not low key, he rocked Diego with a nice left hook. Then kind of took him down to the ground and beat him up to end the round out. Second round, Diego's going to catch Volk with a 1-2. Boom. Rocks Volk. But Diego doesn't really capitalize on it. And then 3 through 5 was more of just Volk piecing up Diego and sticking. You know, he's just that jab, bro. The leg kicks. Diego was very low output. I thought he would gas, but at the end of the fight, he had the better gas tank because he kept trying to get Volk to brawl with him in the middle. I think Diego should have threw his hands more, but he couldn't catch Volk. That was another thing. He kept trying to get Volk to stand in the middle and brawl, but they were doing that at the beginning fight. Like the early rounds, Volk was standing in the ground and they were just brawling, throwing big meaty hooks. So look at the total strikes, 165 to 71. He couldn't hit him. And Volk went 1 for 11 on take. That's another thing. I didn't know Diego had brick wall takedown defense like this. Volk got one takedown after he rocked him in the first round and didn't get another takedown the rest of the fight. Who's Volk gonna fight next? I heard after we'll talk about this later, but I heard Yair calling for a title shot. No, bro. You just lost 2 in a row, but you finally beat up a Bellator pitbull, which I'll never pick. I'm not picking any more fighters I've never seen before. That was just stupid. Diego and Yair had a nice little back and forth at the press conference. I think Diego needs to fight Yair since Yair won and Diego just lost. I don't know what to do with Volk. I ain't gonna lie. We'll see what happens. Let's go. This fight right here. This fight really made me a Paddy Pimblett fan. I like Paddy Pimblett. I like his fights, man. I've watched him since Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, and now this. So that's 3 fights in a row, and he's delivered every time. You know, I picked Paddy first round submission. That didn't happen, but first round, Chandler kind of smudging him up against the fence. Then they end up clinching, and Paddy jumps guard, like jumped up in the air and pulled guard. I thought that was kind of fire. Ends up reversing the position. Second round, Paddy's Paddy was just lighting Chandler up on the feet. Chandler had no answers for Paddy on the feet, man. It was just easy work on the feet. I think that's why Chandler shot, and then Chandler shot in the second round. Paddy ends up reversing it and lets off some mean ground and pound, just beating him up. Third round, beautiful knee up the middle, cuts Chandler's cheek open, mean damage. Paddy picks him up, slams him, just ragdolls him, takes him to the ground, beats him up Khabib style. I can't remember if he was the one throwing 12 to 6 elbows. One of these fights, someone was getting lit up with 12 to 6 elbows. I can't remember. No, it was Yair. Okay, yeah. So Paddy was just beating him up, you know, regular style. Yair, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yair had mean ground and pound. I've never seen Yair on top, and it was woo. So Paddy gets a nice dub. He called out like everybody in the top 5. Who should Paddy fight? Hmm. Me personally, I think Ilya should fight Arman for the #1 contender spot. Just so Islam can't have that excuse of I've already gave it to a bunch of 145 pounders. Fuck it. I said we do Paddy and Charles and then Dustin and Gaethje. Feel like we should just do that, man. So we got Arman versus Ilya, uh, Charles versus Paddy. I say fuck it, put Paddy right up in put him against Islam, but they're not gonna do that. Paddy versus Charles, and then Dustin versus Justin again. This would be the third fight. It's split 1-1, and Dustin can go retire off that. I mean, who else is Dustin gonna fight? And then backstage, Paddy ran into old Kobe Covington, and Kobe Covington, you know, Kobe's gonna run that mouth, and yeah, they got into it backstage. I'll play the video.
Bro, you're fighting scrub. You guys are 2 and 6.
I'll come and slap you, and you'll be I'll come and slap you. Zip your shirt up, you little
You're a bum. You mean guys that are 2 and 6. Remember that. Remember that. You're a scrub. You're a fraud. You're a fraud.
What are you on a 3-fight losing streak?
You get fraud checks so quick.
But yeah, man, I'm impressed with Paddy's performance. I say rushing to the title, man. And he's looked good in his last 3 fights. I know he's beating up Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green and now Michael Chandler, but dang. Just go ahead and send him to the title versus Islam, and we can really see if he's going to get fraud checked. All right, let's get into the next fight. Okay, this is a fight I want to talk about. I picked Pitbull, never watching a Pitbull fight. I was only going off of what Mighty Mouse said, that he was an all-around great fighter, and I said, Yair. I didn't know if he'd been working on his wrestling, but he had. I saw that on Instagram, and they talked about that. He's been working with the GOAT Bilal Muhammad, and it showed. Yair did good. He got taken down one time, I think, but he got right back up. Patricio Pitbull, man, just froze. I don't know what was going on. He looked at Yair, stood in kicking range with Yair, one of the best kickboxers in the UFC. Stood in kicking range with him for the first 3 minutes of the first round. Didn't throw one punch. Yair was very low output too. Second round, Yair started kind of heating up, throwing those mean body kicks, those mean front kick, whatever, all them techniques he got, and just more domination. And then third round, Yair finally catches him with a 1-2. And boy, Yair put some mean ground and pound. I've always seen Yair, when he gets taken down in his guard, he's throwing elbows. But now I got to see Yair up on top. And he has some nice ground and pound. So yeah, nice little 30-27 unanimous decision, Yair. Pitbull, I don't know what to go from here. I think you need to go back to Bellator, bro. I'm not gonna lie, after a performance like that. Yair, you got to fight Diego. I think that's the best fight. Go ahead and set that up because they were jawing at the press conference. Next, see, my spirit was telling me to go with Bryce Mitchell, go with the Lord, but MMA knowledge said John Silva. I mean, John Silva was literally just he did not take Bryce serious. He shucked off Bryce's takedowns. Bryce was low key doing good on the feet in the first round, but then he shot a takedown and he got almost got went to sleep in the guillotine. I didn't know John Silva had a submission game like that. That's why I was kind of worried about picking him because I know the ground game was like this. But boy, I think he drops him in the second round with a left hook, then a left, and then a right. Somehow Bryce survives. They end up against the fence. Bryce is trying to take him down again. Look, what did Bryce go? 1 for 14. I mean, he was shucking off these takedowns, and John John grabs this nasty. What they called it, a ninja choke. I thought it was a Darce, but he wraps Bryce up like a boa constrictor and chokes him to sleep. Uh, Bryce goes to sleep. John gets up, starts barking at Bryce's knocked out body, and his eyes was wide open. It was just crazy. We gotta fast track him because Bryce was 13, so he'll be 12. Yeah, he only needs one more fight, then he's fighting for the belt. He's kind of in the Patty situation. Either send him straight to the belt or give him one more fight, and we're ready to go to the belt. With Bryce, I don't know what to do with you, Bryce. This is why I'm always going with MMA knowledge and not thinking with my heart or my spirit, because MMA knowledge is always going to win. But yeah, John Silver, the man. I was so pissed because I literally refreshed I refreshed the stream and it refreshes and Nikita Koloff is knocked out on the ground. I picked Dominic Reyes and because I've never seen the Nikita Koloff fight, but Dominic Reyes literally knocks out Nikota. They said this on the commentator said this. He knocked him out with a Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor step back left hand, and it was nasty. And shout out Dominic Reyes, man. He got knocked out brutally 3 times in a row. Now he's on a 3 fight win streak. I think he calls out Yuri, and he was very emotional, crying after the fight. So yeah, shout out Dominic Reyes. Clean knockout. I think I was gonna win this. I picked Sean Wilson decision. This was a bad stoppage. Danny Gay was having a really hard time trying to get to Sean Woodson because Sean Woodson so lengthy. And can anyone explain what this shit is right here? Sean Woodson be doing? He's always doing some weird shit with his hands. But yeah, Sean Woodson was just piecing him up with that jab. Dan could not close the distance. Finally, in the third round, I think Dan does some kind of Mike Tyson switch, and it was like he was southpaw and he threw like a overhand left and clipped Sean, dropped him. Then Sean grabs for the takedown. He starts hitting Sean while he's grabbing for the takedown, and then it's a quick stoppage. I thought Sean was gonna cruise to the decision. I was gonna get my pick right, but Danny Ige, he's got that one hit quitter, man. Jim Miller with the crafty performance. I know he lost, but just crafty. Chase Hooper is one of the best grapplers in this lightweight division, and Jim Miller wasn't going for none of them submissions. I actually thought Jim won the first round because Chase didn't really do anything. Chase got to work on his striking. That's all. He's southpaw, 1-2s, and then teeps, man. So Chase, you got to work on your striking. There's only a total of 59 strike. Jesus, he was 8-4-14. Hey, but Jim even went for a couple subs on him. Okay. Yeah, I just thought Jim had a crafty performance not getting submitted by this young gun. And Chase even called out some of the younger guys. He needs to fight some younger guys. I agree with him. Don't give him no more old heads. Let's give Chase some young blood, and let's see what he can do. But yeah, Chase had some nice transitions. He's at least he's a busy grappler, not a smudge grappler. You know what I'm saying? So shout out Chase Hooper. This was like Darren Elkins needs to be in it. I've never seen Darren Elkins fight. Apparently he fought Volk back in the day, but he should have been in a retirement home. He got hit with a jab and literally got rocked and fell down and got dropped by just a normal jab at the beginning of the round. Like I could not believe it took Julian this long to finish Darren. I don't ever want to see this man in the octagon again. He needs to retire. I thought this fight would stop way too late. Like I don't even know what to say about that. Julian, you beat up a corpse basically. Dumas versus Miguel. I picked Dumas just because he's a brother. I'm gonna stop doing that too. I couldn't remember Dumas's fights, but my God, he was terrified. He got on the back foot the entire first round. Mikael finally catches him with I think it was a straight left, and it like bounces off his temple, and he goes down, and he literally just shelves up and gives up like Jalen Turner would do. He just shelves up when Mikael's jumping on him with the ground and pound, then gets mad when the ref stops the fight, but the ref literally let him get beat on while he was shelled up for at least 20 seconds. So I don't know why he'd be mad. I didn't understand that. Mikael with a good win. He's been training with the Fighting Nerds. He had the Fighting Nerds glasses at the end of the fight. He had Kyle Barajo in his corner. So and they fought before too. So I guess Kyle kind of whooped on me, and then Michael said, "I'm gonna go train with you and get better." So yeah, I think that's a smart move. Some versus Raposo. I thought this was a very boring fight. He was 6 for 19 on takedowns. He could not take him down. He was spamming. The crowd was booing. I don't know how this was a split decision. 78 total strikes to 13. Some is part of the Uriah Faber and Song Yadong team. So I mean, he's very lanky for that flyweight division. It looked like he was just like height mogging him with his height and length. So yeah, this this kicked off that card. We're gonna act like that first fight didn't happen. This kicked off the card with a war. I didn't. Oh yeah, I never seen both these dudes fight, so I didn't pick. But Tulio is a nasty kickboxer, man, and Trayshawn Gore is a dog. He's got he kind of reminds me of Buckley. He's moving his head. He's walking in, throwing those big meaty hooks, and then Tulio's kickboxing techniques. He was throwing everything at the kitchen sink against this dude. And Trayshawn, I give it to him. He's got heart, man. But I think Tulio is going to be a good fighter in this middleweight class, man. And he didn't look like he was slowing down. Great cardio. That was a war. That was a really good fight. I don't know how he didn't get performance of the night. And I feel like he should have got 50K for his performance because he was throwing spinning kicks, all kinds of kicks. So Patty's got a little bit of that Dana White privilege. Shout out Marco Tulio though. That was a good ass fight. I'm definitely tuning in. I'm glad I'll remember these dudes and I'm gonna be locked in next time they fight. So yeah, man. Overall, it was a good card. Let me see what I went. 0 for 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 2, 2 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 3, 5 and 3. So I went 5 and 3 on the picks that I picked. Not too bad, not too bad. But yeah, man. Shout out Miami, me mommy. Comment down below what y'all thought of the card. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And also if you enjoyed the video, like the video. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. We out.
I'm him, I can tell you from the jump, I'm a different breed. Bought a new tech, free shot, no referee. I ain't gon' force, nah shit, I'ma let it be. White gold shining, diamonds red like the 7 Seas.